Check one. All right, good evening, everyone. It's just about that time, around 8:30. I'm looking at our sunset out there. Just gorgeous as we head into another night here in Central Texas. We've had a pretty good day out there. Really not too bad. It was kind of muggy, but also breezy at times too. So we walked away with some nice temperatures, upper 80s for most of us. And of course, tomorrow things are about to change. We are going to see that resurge of moisture in our area, as well as chances for scattered showers, as well as thunderstorms are on the way. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday are all days we need to be watching the radar in case you have evening plans the next 3 days. I would make sure that you are checking in with KView or at least the radar each and every afternoon, just so you can plan your plans accordingly. So let's take a look at this gorgeous sunset. We'll take it this full actually, just to show you guys how nice it is out there at Lake Travis, the Oasis Cam. Really nice looking sunset there. Let's see if we have another vantage point in our second router. Actually, let me change it up a little bit. Let's take a look downtown and see what it looks like there. Really can barely see the clouds on this vantage point. So really nice night across Austin, really not too bad. Let's take a look at our numbers that we saw today. So actually, oh, you can't see those. Here's our numbers that we saw today. At the airport, 87 degrees, 88 for Camp Mabry, average 83 this time of year. So of course, again, we're above average temperature wise, which we usually are. You know, the climate just keeps getting warmer and warmer. So this is still very far away from our record of 95 set back in 1937, and current temperatures as we head into the night tonight aren't too bad, dipping down into the 70s now for most of us, if not the lower 80s for a lot of us. Austin now sitting at 81 degrees, Cameron at 77, and we do have still some blustery winds out there. So let's take a look at these. I do think it's going to be quite breezy as we head overnight tonight. Tomorrow doesn't look like these breezes or gusts are really going to let up too much. I do think we're going to see gusts anywhere from 15 to maybe 25 miles per hour throughout the day tomorrow. So be expecting another day of some pretty breezy conditions, whether or not you do see rain tomorrow. So our radar for the moment is really looking very, very clear. There may be a little bit of feedback coming in from San Antonio there just to the south of Hays County, but otherwise we are clear to go. We're good to go for this evening. However, this is not the same for our neighbors out there in West Texas. Now, this has been our third or fourth day of warm, dry, muggy, but cloudy conditions here in Central Texas. However, out in West Texas, where you can see all the way from the Big Bend region through San Angelo, all the way up towards western portions of Dallas, this is actually their third night of showers and storms, initializing on this dry line that sets up out in West Texas. Basically, a dry line is a line that cuts off dry air from very humid air. And here on the east side of Texas, closer to the Gulf, we tend to have a lot more humidity, especially, in Houston. It gets humid out there. Down towards Corpus Christi and Brownsville, same kind of thing. Here in Austin, of course, it gets humid. However, out towards West Texas, they have a much drier air mass over them most of the time, so they tend to keep that dry air around, and the dry line sets up somewhere right here. It does kind of teeter from time to time, and actually a low pressure system is going to help shift that closer to our area as we head into the next couple of days. Now, this is why our rain chances are going to increase for our Wednesday afternoon and our Thursday afternoon, because this low pressure system is going to kind of shift that line much further to Austin. We'll get that almost condensation of moisture on both sides, and that'll compress, and that will cause a little bit of lift for some of those storms to tag onto and kind of start to, I want to say, I have a word in my head. What is that word? Not observe. Organize. Yes, the storms organize off that boundary. So that is what we are anticipating as we head into the next couple of days. Now, currently for tonight, as well as early tomorrow morning, this is what West Texas is looking at for their severe storm outlook. They have an enhanced risk all the way from Lubbock to Abilene to San Angelo, Pecos also in there, and then Dallas also in a slight risk there. So this severe storm risk is actually going to shift east as we head into our Wednesday. Again, I've got that upper level forecast for you guys. Our low that I just showed you on the other map there on our radar, that's going to be shifting east as we head into the next couple of days. So there's a look at Wednesday at 2 p.m. I will say what's been giving us our current weather pattern for the past couple of days is actually where this large ridge of high pressure actually is. So this ridge was sitting over Austin for the past couple of days. That was actually inhibiting us from seeing those storms be able to pop up and organize. Now, this low pressure system is bringing us the potential for some lift, which will help those storms organize, and we will likely see some more wet weather here in Austin here in the next couple of days. So let's actually go through the forecast, what we can expect as we head overnight tonight. Clouds are going to build in. Tomorrow is looking very, very similar to what we saw yesterday morning and the morning before that. Now, I do think there might be a slight extra risk for some wet weather tomorrow. So you may see a stray shower, couple batches of drizzle out there are not out of the question, but I do think breezes are going to be high enough that we won't see any visibility issues on the map from any fog or anything like that. Now heading into Wednesday evening. So here's a look at 7 p.m. I do want to back this up just a touch. Let's head towards about 5 p.m. So 5 p.m. you can see down towards San Antonio up to the north of us, we start to see that chance for isolated storms, maybe a couple showers out there, and then we continue to shift into our latter half of the evening, so 6:30 and then 7 o'clock. You will notice that this model in particular has storms kind of splitting off to the north as well as to the south. This does not mean that we will not see storms here in the I-35 corridor. It's very well that this storm could initialize up here or this storm could initialize down here. It's very possible that that boundary that is going to be along the I-35 corridor tomorrow, it's very possible that a shower or a thunderstorm does develop along that line. So while you do see us kind of missing out on the rain chance for tomorrow afternoon for this model, that doesn't exactly mean that we will. You know, it's kind of a conditional risk, what we call it, for tomorrow. So if storms do form along that line, they will likely, you know, bubble up and produce some sort of active weather here. If that is low-end severe category or high-end severe category, that's kind of up to the storms, you know, dynamic there, up to the storm's choice. Now let's head into our Thursday. We're going to see very similar conditions for Thursday afternoon compared to Wednesday afternoon. Now this model, I will say, tends to overproduce a little bit, so we'll pull that a little bit zoomed in for you. Now this is 7:30 on Thursday, but again, we're going to start watching that radar much earlier than that. Likely about 4 or 5 p.m. you'll start to see showers and thunderstorms up towards the hill country. Now this boundary is going to be moving tomorrow, so this looks like it will pass through the I-35 corridor at some point on Thursday afternoon and evening. And of course, Thursday is not our last chance for weather, everyone. Now, I do think that our high resolution models actually do go out further now into Friday. So like, let's see exactly how much of Friday we can see. Okay, only until about 12 p.m. So starting Friday, this is when the actual cold front moves on through. Now this is going to be a weak front, but it does have moisture riding on it, and that will allow us to see a much better chance for rain here in central Texas. So 12:30 is all I can get to for you guys, but you can see that the chances for showers at least are spreading all the way from Mason all the way to Milam County there. So I do think we have a better chance for some rain on Friday, just due to the dynamics of things. An actual cold front coming through that tends to give us some better chances with a boundary, you know, that rain has something kind of to hold on to rather than just seeing those kind of hit or miss conditions that we're going to see for Wednesday and Thursday. So that's kind of what we have on the models so far. Here's a look at our severe threats for Wednesday and Thursday. Friday technically is not within the bounds of forecasts for this the Storm Prediction Center yet. They only go 3 days out, not 4 days out. If there is a really high possibility of severe weather on day 4 or 5, which would be like Friday or Saturday, they will issue kind of a special statement, but there isn't one yet for Friday. I do think Friday is going to be another situation where we could see low-end severe storms, but the possibility may arise. So we'll kind of update you guys on that as we head throughout the rest of this week. But here are the severe threats for Wednesday and Thursday afternoon. Basically, we're watching for damaging winds as well as large hail. Isolated tornado risk, always. That is just not zero, but it's not likely to happen. So watching that. Flooding is also going to be concerned. The flooding risk actually starts to inch up as we head towards, you know, Thursday and Friday, because that will be after we got the rainfall from Wednesday. So once it kind of builds on each other, and if we do get some even greater rain chances for next week, which is looking potentially likely, that's something that we'll look at if we need to communicate to everyone. So here is, well, actually, we'll go to Wednesday. Here is Wednesday's storm outlook. You can see that is mostly up towards the Waco and Dallas area. Again, Austin in a pretty low chance for severe weather. Thursday, about the same. Pretty low chance for severe weather out there. And I do want to show us what we have in store for our Friday. So Friday, we do have increasing chances for that rain out there, which will most likely be kind of like a widespread chance for showers as well as maybe some thunderstorms out there. This is our last update from our European as well as GFS models. The GFS is not really bringing us a ton of this rain. It'll be mostly the European model. I will say The European model is something that we trust a little bit more. The GFS model tends to not be as good, but sometimes it hits things right, like nail on the head. You know, these are all kind of things that we have to balance out as we look at a forecast here. So that's basically what we're looking at for our Friday. I will say, I teased this a little bit, but next week, Tuesday and Wednesday, there may be another low pressure system flowing through, northern Texas that could bring us some really good rain chances too. This is now included in our 7-day rainfall totals. So if I pull this a little bit larger for you guys, you can see it does look like we are going to get a nice wash of rainfall here in central Texas over the next 7 days. Again, mainly this is going to be Friday evening as that cold front pushes through, anywhere from 1 to 2 inches, mostly for the hill country areas. And then I do think that our models are picking up on what is initializing down towards San Antonio and up towards Hays County there. It looks like those areas have a little bit of a better chance for some of those storms to initialize there, but we'll have to kind of wait and see if that all pans out the way that this model thinks it's going to. It does look like that the coastal plains regions aren't going to be as high of a chance for rain over the next 7 days, but of course things always change sometimes here in central Texas. So here's that 7-day forecast for you guys. Wednesday, Thursday, about the same 40 to maybe 50% chances for rain out there. Maybe up to 60% chance if something initializes along that I-35 boundary. And we do get some good rains here in the metro. And then of course, everybody or most people see rain, and then those friends out in the hill country or the coastal plains are kind of left out of that. So we will have to see. Again, Wednesday and Thursday is that conditional chance for showers and thunderstorms. So it's not totally, accurate. We don't know exactly where they're going to initialize, but I think on Wednesday, be watching on the I-35 corridor Wednesday afternoon and evening. Thursday, we're watching mostly the hill country and the I-35 corridor there. And then Friday, that cold front is actually going to come from the north and head north-south. A lot of times these come in from the west and move east, but this is going to be north-south situated, so I do think that gives us a little bit better chance for some rain out there. And then as we move into this weekend, things are actually looking pretty good. We do have those isolated chances for a few storms just kind of lingering around town here. Saturday and Sunday, Monday, Tuesday are looking very similar. Again, Tuesday we've got another chance for a low, a developing low, upper level low to kind of move into the Texas region. So things could certainly change Monday to Tuesday, and they likely will. So I think you can trust Saturday and Sunday there. I don't think it's going to be as wet as we're thinking, especially for Friday night. I think Saturday and Sunday are going to work out to be pretty lovely days. But of course, there's always that kind of off chance for a few showers, maybe a thunderstorm on those very isolated days that only have about a 20 to 30% chance. So looking forward to that. Again, end of this week, we're seeing wetter weather. Just keep that on the mind. Wednesday, Thursday, if you don't see anything, that doesn't mean that there isn't rain out there. It just means that it's not in your neighborhood. And then Friday, be sure to watch KView, make sure you got a forecast update, make sure you know what's going on, because as that cold front moves through, it might take some people by surprise. And of course, people have Friday night plans, outdoor, indoor, dinner reservations. So just make sure that you know what to expect before you go out the door, because rain is very hard for us drivers here in central Texas. So that's my final spiel for tonight. I'll see you guys at 10 on KView News.